Google Plus games are now available for some users. Amazon launched a new web app for Kindle users this week. Facebook released a new messaging app for iPhone and Android. HTC has struck a $300 million deal with Beats Audio to allow them to use it in their phones. And we break down some of the first leaked screenshots of Android 4.0 ice cream sandwich. Coming up on Tech Weekly.
Tech Weekly, episode 57. It's Saturday, August 13th, 2011.
I'm liking this new music. Jet was like cruising around Groove Shark and he found this awesome
I just
music.
typed in the artist royalty-free music.
Oh, okay.
They have
And there it
about
is.
16 tracks up on there. This one is called 49 Cent Blaze.
And we're going to have to loop it or something, but it's a good song.
Yeah.
So, how you doing today, Jet?
I'm doing great.
Jet
And
went ballooning this morning.
yeah.
And Carlo's joining us from twitter.com/Carlo Brown.
Carlo.
And Carlo, you want to tell us a little bit about your new website you got going on?
Well, I've worked with it for a while. I officially released it yesterday, just basically personal blog. It's a live page for occasional streaming, and it's pretty much what it is at the moment. There might be more stuff later.
Sweet.
Would you like that to be your lower third now?
Well, we can add it to it.
Add it to it? We don't have that kind of royalty space here, Carlo.
Oh, you can do that for me, can't you?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Actually, that'll be 5% extra. But
174, right?
yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Yup. So,
Yepers.
boom!
There you go.
Yep, CarloBrown174.com.
And I would encourage everyone to go over there.
Yeah, go check it out.
So, Jet, let's start off with our first news story. And I think this was on Thursday that this was first launched. And I went on there, and a lot of people were going on there. You know, I was watching Tech News Today. And they were talking about, you know, the new Google Plus games. And I'm like, well, I don't have it. And nobody on that panel had it. But now, what is it,
We're rolling
Saturday,
it out.
everybody has it on
Rolling it
our
out.
panel. And if you're on Google Plus, I would encourage you to
They got some
check
pretty
it
cool
out.
games.
Yeah, and they don't strike me as really Facebook, like what I would see on Facebook. That
Like-
City of Wonder kind of does.
Yeah, but like, I mean, they got Angry Birds and
yeah,
Diamond Fish. I don't even know what that is.
like it's
Like,
fun.
I'm really curious about Crime City.
Oh gosh.
Like, I just want to see this real
Okay,
quick.
no, wait, hold on.
Oh,
This is
oh.
the no. Look at this. This is the
Yeah, it asks for permission
kind of like
because
Facebook.
it's going to view your basic information and it's going to list
All right.
people on your circles and junk. So you hit allow access.
And now the game loads.
Now the game's loading up. It's about to play this junk. I don't even know what it is.
Overall, I mean, it kind of without the Facebook ads on the sides, it looks a lot less cluttered, I guess you could say,
Oh,
you know,
cool.
than Facebook does.
It's like a little like Mafia Wars, but like walk around.
Nice. It's kind of like Grand Theft Auto, but in a Facebook or a Google Plus game.
So like, you know, I can customize my dude here. Let's make him relatively close to what I look like.
Wait, that blonde, long hair, that was you, right?
No.
Only on the
he's
weekend.
Pretty much gonna be bald. Throw in no glasses. A hat? No.
Backwards hat.
He's not gonna have any hats. Facial hair? Let's make him scruffy. I like being scruffy. Oh well, he doesn't have a scruffy part.
Come on.
And then, you know, you got some tops. Definitely the
beard.
Royal Guard top.
What the crap? That's kind of weird.
Some of these things you gotta buy. I'm gonna be a tribesman. No, I'm not gonna be a
Yes,
tribesman.
That's you, Jacob, right there.
But I mean, it's kind of cool. You can like customize people. This is just a random game. There you go. Shipwrecked. There you go. And the bottoms are gonna be.
Give him some like cut off shorts or something.
I like that one in the bottom right. What's that?
There you go. Heart box. Oh.
Come on.
Do I have any money? Yes, I got. No, I don't have any gold.
I got a nice pair of heart boxes.
How about just some torn ship?
I like those.
There you go.
Clip
Well,
those.
maybe not. I want some like. There you go. Get some shorts there.
There
There
we
you
go.
go.
Oh, yes.
That's looking nice. Make him a little bit paler.
Oh yes.
There you go. Let's play this junk. So, like, you know, you can see you got... I mean, it's pretty cool.
Well, yeah, and I'm interested in some of the other games because I noted that what am I thinking of? Angry Birds is on there. That was pretty cool. I tried it out. I mean, it is it's the same. It's what we first saw on what was that? The Intel Marketplace that you saw at CES. I mean, you obviously control it with your mouse.
Yeah, I mean, they do have Angry Birds on here. You can come in here and play Angry Birds.
Yes, and there are some other notable publishers, including Zynga, which is really big on.
And you can plus it right here and stuff. So.
Looks like everyone's going to be hanging out playing Angry Birds now.
Yeah.
Now, this was announced on Thursday over at the official Google blog by Vic Gandotra, he's kind of like one of the guys in charge of Google Plus. And they really hit Facebook hard on this situation because they, essentially in their blog post, they said, unlike some other social networks, we will not flood your mainstream with all this content, which I'm very appreciative of because so many times I go on Facebook and I get invites to something like a Fishville or Mafia Wars or a Farmville or something like that. I don't know, and it automatically delete that. But
oh, cool! And it shows the next person to beat. Now that's cool.
What is it?
It shows your personal score, and it shows people on Google Plus the next score to beat.
So who's that up there?
I don't know.
So do you think? I mean, is it drawing
probably
from...
people in your circle?
Okay. That's pretty awesome. So there's your
social...
So
now watch this. He got 29,000. Now I'm going to have two more... so he got 10,000, another 10,000. I just beat him.
Oh, so it's level by level.
Boom.
That's pretty cool.
Just beat him. Yes, it is my people that I follow. There's Robert Scoble, Nicholas, Tony, Ross, whatever his name is. So you can, like, brag to him, like, I beat Robert Scoble. So I can send Robert Scoble a message saying, haha, I beat you. Haha, I beat you.
That's awesome. So the interesting thing to note here is this has nothing to do with your mainstream right now, at least. And the notifications can only be received in the Google Games tab. So you have to be in the home, like the game's home screen to see these notifications, which I think is great because, if I'm going...
That's good, it keeps them out of the way.
Yeah, and plus, if you are going to play the games, you don't really... It makes more sense to have the notifications directly on the games tab than having it flood everybody else, you know what I mean? So everybody who wants to see them will see them, and everybody who doesn't will never see them. And that was one of the big draws, that they said. And another thing, they are going to have... Right now, they're all free, but they are kind of a freemium basis. Like we saw, Jacob had the Crime Wars, where he actually had to buy a new thing.
And brag to Robert Scoble.
I see a trend here. That's pretty awesome.
That's fun.
Wonder, yeah.
That's fun.
City of Wonder was one of the first launch. Well, actually, all of these games are first launch. I don't think they've had any new ones. But if you scroll down there, Jeff, there's your game stream. So it is a...
But I like how it gets competitive with your friends.
Yeah, I did not know that because I didn't...
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that too.
So, like, if I go to my stream, or my profile, I should say, it doesn't say anything in here to me about playing games. But,
But if I go to my Google Games tab, for instance, it's going to say, hey, Jacob
I can go over to my Google Games tab, and it says...
what games you've recently
here's
played.
your games notifications over here.
Yeah.
If you did that.
So Robert
like,
Scoble
that's where he would
yeah.
get his notification saying, haha, I beat you. You can see all games. It was just the featured ones. They got, 16 games. So, I mean, pretty much a game for every little different niche.
Yeah.
You got poker, you got puzzles, and...
They've got Sudoku, which I think is kind of interesting. They've got Zombie Land.
But it's cool because you're going to be playing against your circles. And so that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Doesn't this kind of feel like how Facebook should have done it? Because this is where you cash in, is because nobody is getting filled. Like, instantly, I'm hiding a lot of those things. Say, if Jacob starts playing Farmville, which, he never would and flood his stream, but whatever, let's just say he does. And I see that, and I block all those posts about Farmville. That's one thing that Facebook does allow you to do. But at the same time, maybe I wanted to play that game one day, and I won't see those anymore. So I like this being separated because if I ever want to play a game, I can see all of the relevant information. You know, Jacob's played this game. He sent you a notification, but it's also, you know, away from my main content, so I don't have to see it when I don't want to.
And it asks you that allow access for each unique game.
And I like that because, you know,
you might not want some games having access to your stuff.
Yeah.
You might want to play that game off the records, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. But, you know, the big thing with Facebook is when you go to those allow pages, and a lot of people don't realize this, it actually says, hey, we can now post to your wall, and that's where you get all that spam from. But
yeah, which everything posts to your wall on Facebook, though.
yeah, true.
There you go.
But I do like the fact, like you were talking about, Facebook kind of has this integration between your friends, but it's not really. And I can see, you know, Google Plus saying, hey, you build in this API, and then you're able to draw from our API or whatever. And that's pretty cool. I think Angry Birds right now, after looking at some of these, has done the best job of tying those in. But, you know, of course, that's...
I think it's great that they keep the stuff separate so you don't get all the game stuff on your mainstream and that.
Now, Carlo, wouldn't you say, this is how I feel. I feel like if it ever goes, after it started off being separated, if it ever goes into my mainstream, I'm gonna get kind of mad. You know, like Facebook, I'm like,
I
it's
wouldn't
always
like that at all. I'll probably just go and mute them all.
Yeah, that is a good feature though. You can just mute, like, some posts you can just mute, like, and I like that fact with Google Plus, is that if Robert Scoble makes if I make a comment on Robert Scoble's stuff, even if I've turned off notifications or whatever, I can just mute that post if I don't want to see it or whatever, because at the beginning, when I signed up for Google Plus, I had a bunch of threads and comments and stuff resurfacing. You know how I used to do that?
I got like 900 emails just because I commented on one thing, like for Robert Scoble.
Yeah.
Now, I did find this game on here. It's called Dragons of Atlantis, and it's kind of almost like a Warcraft or like a StarCraft kind of game. You know, that kind of style, mine for minerals and build your things and then attack people.
Kind of reminds me of We Rule on the iPad.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of cool. So, I mean, they got a bunch of different kind of games on there. So, you know, check them out.
Smoothie saying the only game that he would play is Zynga Poker. I don't know. Angry Birds seems kind of cool, but I think there needs to be a draw for me to play Angry Birds on there because, you know, I've already beaten Angry Birds multiple times on my phone and my iPad or whatever. So. And
I really, really, really would like Angry Birds to start making a login.
Yeah.
So I don't have to go play all those levels again.
Yeah, like a cross-platform login.
Yeah, like, come on, guys. It's about time to do that.
But it
I wouldn't play any of them, to be honest. It's not the thing.
Yes. So, I don't know. I think it's awesome that it's segregated. And
oh, here's one that's like StarCraft.
There you go.
You had Warcraft, now you have StarCraft. This is called Edge World. Oh, that's Carlo Brown. This is Edge World, and it looks just like
what's StarCraft may look like.
You know, StarCraft kind of looks like. You know, it's kind of a set in space, and you have, you know, maps and stuff. That's kind of cool because you can play against people in your circles.
Yeah, that's really the intriguing thing, and I guess
it's multiplayer games.
Yeah,
that you know.
I think the circles really make sense here because, like, maybe I don't want to play with Robert Scoble. Maybe I just want to play with Jacob and Carlo, so I could just share the game with, you know, Jacob and Carlo, for instance.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Cool.
So our next story here is Amazon actually kind of came back and slapped Apple in the face. I don't think we talked about this, but yep. Apple, for all their for all their apps that are in the iOS App Store, they now said that if you do in-app purchases, we need a share of that. And it was a pretty big share. It was like, I don't know if they have it here, but it was a pretty big percentage, you know, like between like 5 and 15%.
Amazon or Apple was saying that?
Apple was saying that. So Amazon for instance, on my Kindle app for iPad, you used to be able to click one button and it would take you to the Kindle store and you could download new things. Well, obviously they took that out because they said, hey, Apple, we don't want you taking any of our revenue because, I mean, that's pretty obvious why Amazon wouldn't want them to do that. So this week they launched the new HTML5 Kindle app. And much like, I think you can do this with Android as well, but you can actually save a bookmark to the home page or to your desktop on there. So, it appears just like a regular application. And once you launch it, it takes you to a web version of the Kindle, and it allows you to read much like the Kindle app would. It is a little bit laggier, but I mean, a lot of people are focusing on that it's built in HTML5, it's embracing, you know, newer standards, and it works pretty well. I've tried it out, and they have a Chrome application now that you can use. I think they've always had like a web app that you could use, but it's much better. So now they're saying, hey, if you want to use Kindle for iPad, you should use the web app, which I think is interesting. But you know, I mean, it's obvious why they did that is because they don't want to pay. They want Apple to play with it. Now, Carlo, have you tried this out on your iPad?
No, I don't really use ebooks or anything like that on my iPad.
I don't either. I've bought 2 Kindle books. Actually, I looked at it at Chrome, and it's pretty cool because one of the interesting things about Kindle is it actually saves your, like you were talking about with Angry Birds, it saves your progress cross-platform, so it syncs with your Amazon account, and it allows you, so whether I'm reading on my iPad, my Android phone, Chrome, whatever, it'll save your progress, it saves your highlighted books and stuff. It's pretty cool. They did a really nice job making this like a native iOS application. Of course, you can use this on Android. You can use it in Safari, Chrome, both on the desktop, and then you can use it on Safari for iPad. I don't know if you can try it out with any of the other browsers. I'm sure it'll work. And then on Android. So, pretty interesting. I think it's pretty cool. Kind of, Jeff's playing with Mashable. They've got this thing for the next post that pops out. Yeah, there you go. That's pretty awesome. Anyway,
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Oh, that's the Mia cam. Turn off the Mia. That was the greatest.
Pops up about 3/4 of the way down.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's just cool. And the funny thing is, if you remember, Jeff, when the iPhone or iOS came out, whatever, they originally did not have an app-based platform. Like Steve Jobs used to say, all you need is web apps. We've got HTML5. We don't need Flash anymore. And then, you know, after web apps didn't take off so much, they went to the App Store. But now, Amazon going back to web apps because they're making them pay.
Make them pay.
Make them pay.
Do it.
So, pretty awesome. Just, I thought that was a pretty cool note. And, you know, a lot of people are saying, hey, it's HTML5. Maybe HTML5 is, you know, coming in, I don't know, more. The funny thing is, you know, a lot of people... HTML5 is just a newer version of HTML. Like, a lot of people... Yeah, I think you've made
like,
this
oh
point
my gosh,
before.
it's so amazing. I'm like...
Well, what they did, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it has more functionality in it. Like, you can actually do what you know, you used to have to use, like, a CSS or something to do some styling or make something, like, pop up like Mashable is doing, for instance. But now, it's interesting you may be able to do that with
It's pretty
HTML5.
much like how they had their, like, Ajax. All Ajax is just Java and
Is it something?
Stuff.
PHP and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I mean, it's like, you know, it's just
Yay.
it's still the same
Java
languages,
is Java.
kind of. It's just kind of like, you know,
Yeah.
meshed together.
And I think
So-
the reason that a lot of people, like, you could just learn HTML5, or, you know, if you already know it, you could just implement some of the newer changes, and you could maybe forget more about CSS or Flash or whatever. That's what a lot of people are hoping for. Now, Jay, I want to get your opinion about this, because we had an interesting conversation the other night between regular messaging, like text messaging, and this was Google Talk you were talking about, for instance, but Facebook has launched a new messaging application. It's a standalone application. It does interface with your messaging tab on Facebook, or you can still use the one inside of the Facebook application, but it was always buried, and, you know, it's kind of hard to use. Joe, I don't know if you've downloaded this. It's free in the Android market and iOS as well. And it looks a lot like Beluga. And a lot of people were saying that, you know, we tried out Beluga. It was pretty cool. Facebook acquired Beluga about 3 months ago. And it has been said that the Beluga team was actually the ones who developed this application. So it incorporates a lot of the things that Beluga had to offer. You can share pictures directly in stream from your mobile device.
There you go. It even shows a picture of a beluga whale.
Oh, that's awesome. And like you can see right there, Jeff, you can actually, so I can add right now, this is pretty cool, you can actually tag people in the message, kind of like you could with, what is it, Google Huddle or whatever, the thing that's built into Google+.
Well, they got to do something to keep up with everybody, so.
Yeah, and the funny thing I've seen is, at first when I read this, I'm like, oh, they have a new messaging platform. Well, it just interfaces with Facebook's existing messaging platform. And, they've got this new thing where you have your own @facebook.com email address, which is kind of weird, but if people want to email you, like, it comes to your Facebook thing.
I still don't have that.
Oh, you don't?
Never got it.
This is how I discovered it. It came, like, they announced it. I think we covered it, like, probably months ago. And I usually do not go to messages on Facebook on the web app. If I do it, it's on my phone. And I went over there, and they're like, hey, we've got this new messaging thing, and it did not prompt me to do that until I went to the messaging little tab. Or, whatever it is, the messaging page. So, I don't know. I've had a couple different conversations with some of my friends, and most of them were using the web app, I assume. And there's no way to tell, actually, so that's kind of weird. But
I'll always use the I get email notifications.
Right.
I actually turn off the notifications on my Facebook app, but I'll have it there if I get bored and I just want to like stalk people on Facebook or something. I might get on there and just do whatever.
So I mean,
but like when they send the notification, like say someone comments on a picture I posted, they're like, "Oh, that was cool," and I can reply back like, "Yeah, it was." Yeah. To the email. Yeah, you can reply to the email, and
you never have to go to the web app. Whatever.
And it does it now for messaging and everything.
That's
Before
cool.
You couldn't do it for inbox messages, which was kind of stupid. But
so I don't know. I mean, it's a cool app that it's a standalone application. It at first didn't really make sense to me, but after I played with it a while, it works. I mean, it's a great application.
But see, for me, if someone's going to talk to me on my phone, I want it to be talked to on text message. If we're going back and forth with each other, because I mean, unless it's like somebody like Carlo or somebody that's like wanting to talk about something that you can't text me because that would cost a fortune. But I mean, that's just if you have the ability to text me because it's too hard to like follow half the conversation over here and the other half over here, and then you're talking about. I'm like, where are we talking now?
What I've used it for is I've actually just if I wanted to, this is how I use that. I rarely send Facebook messages, but it's normally with people. This is how I use Facebook messages. I'll add a bunch of people to it, and let's just say the other day I got my high school schedule, my schedule for this year. So I was like, I grouped like 5 of my friends that I always hang out with. I'm like, hey, what schedule do you guys have? Because just wanted all of them to see it, but not everybody on Facebook. And I did most of the replying on my phone. It worked great, but it's not a replacement for. In fact, Huddle and Beluga made more sense for a replacement for text messaging. This is just like Facebook messaging as a standalone application.
Yeah. Like, for example, like Alan moved to England.
Yeah.
So I can't text him anymore. So and he only gets on Facebook. He won't get anything else. Yeah. So I have to use Facebook to talk to him. And most of the time it's just on wall. It's not even like any kind of anything. So, I was trying to get him to like
message
get in there and get some kind of like web-based messaging thing, like Beluga or some, but he doesn't have a smartphone, so it's difficult sometimes. But it's whatever.
It makes sense for being a standalone application because it was like I tried getting into the messaging after I've tried this. I went into the Facebook app on Android, which is already kind of shaky. And then I went in there and looked for the messaging and everything, and it was kind of hard to get to, but in the app. But so it does make sense, and I have been using it, and it's not that impressive. Carlo, have you tried it out on iOS yet?
No, I'm not really that bothered either. Text or Twitter.
Yeah, that's how.
If I'm on Facebook, I usually commenting on posts or just looking through. I don't really use any of the features of Facebook that much.
This is what it comes down to. I do most of my social interaction on Facebook, or not Facebook, Twitter and Google Plus, for instance. I mean, I talk to Carlo 5 times more than I do to anyone on Facebook, or anybody else, Smoothie or Eric or Jacob on Twitter or whatever. But Facebook still has its place for me. That's why I haven't totally ditched it, like Jacob said. I mean, Alan, that's the only way you can communicate with him on the internet, and that's really
because you send him an email and he won't. He says he doesn't. He uses Facebook for email.
That's what
a lot of people are doing now. They're using that as their email. Like, send me that email at my Facebook.
And you're like, oh.
Like, what?
Yeah.
And I forget that people don't have not everybody has a smartphone. Not every,
Yeah.
there's still people out there that don't have smartphones, and so it's hard to because I'm fully connected 24/7.
Yeah.
I mean, that connects me 24/7, and it didn't used to be that way. I mean, I remember when I had a cell phone that was that Motorola F3, that was it was very simple. It had a e-ink screen, and it was like, calculator kind of numbers.
But it did last for like a week on one charge.
Yeah, it would last. You could like throw it in the water, or you could like throw it in the sand, and it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
But
well, according to this, it says an update that the application might have been pulled for a bit.
That's interesting. I don't know. I mean,
I thought it might be back by now. There might have been.
Oh, it was just for like
slight
a little bit for
problem
the
with
day or something.
Okay.
I can check for it.
I don't know. I did get one application. They did send me an update through the Android market. I haven't really checked it out yet, but whatever. Interesting play by Facebook. Yeah, I don't know. All right, so our next story here is about Justin.tv, which is our main streaming platform that we use for live.pbcasttv.com. They launched this new venture a couple weeks back, or I guess it was a couple months ago, called Twitch.tv. I know MediaCast Guy, a couple other people have talked about that a lot of the streaming that goes on at Ustream and Justin.tv is people streaming video games. And that's fine with me. I mean, I watch a lot of the Machinima videos on YouTube.
Machinima.
And Twitch.tv is like pretty much a game-centric streaming platform that's put on by Justin.tv. I mean, it's still, you can obviously look at it. I mean, it's got the kind of the Justin.tv user interface, but and TechCrunch did a write-up about it, and we really hadn't talked about it, so I decided, since a lot of our viewers spend time on Justin.tv, this was actually in June, so 2 or 3 months ago that they launched this. It's been growing rapidly. Twitch.tv saw 1 billion minutes viewed in July, with the traffic doubling, of course. That's a far cry from the YouTube billions of daily viewers, but I don't know why they really compared it to that. Anyway, from the background, Twitch.tv features competitions of a variety of games and platforms, from the top gamers, tournaments, and commentary. The platform aims to be a one-stop shop for live video esports, which Justin.tv says is synonymous with competitive video gaming. I'm not sure what an esport is. So, I mean, doesn't it kind of make sense to have a centric, almost website, because there's so much traffic that goes to Justin.tv. I mean, that's how Justin.tv got started, was a guy like taping, like live streaming himself in the corner of his bedroom, and then people playing video games. So
I know on Justin TV, when I first found it, there's like gigantic gaming community on there, and it's where it came from. They've always been supportive of all of the gamers who stream on there all the time. Whenever new games come out, big ones, like Dragon Age or whatever, everyone's streaming it and people are checking it out because they want to see what it's like before they buy it, or things what I usually do. And they decided to, they did originally have a Justin TV sub-site, it was like gaming.justintv or something like that, and then they changed that to Twitch because there's so many gamers and such a large gaming community, they just made it dedicated just for gaming.
Yeah, makes sense to me for Justin.tv, and I kind of like it because I know a lot of people get caught up in there's a lot of people on the front page that are gaming, and maybe this will draw more people to the science and tech or whatever. But I'm kind of like Carlo. I do like watching some gaming live streams, for instance. Some of the people I follow on Twitter are, like
Twitter.
They do like gaming videos and stuff. And I think the main draw for this for me is when they have like Machinima does some midnight. They'll do tournaments and stuff. I think that's kind of fun to watch on Justin.tv. I mean, obviously sitting there watching somebody play a game that you could play yourself isn't as fun, but I
enjoy watching people play games sometimes. I mean,
yeah, it is fun.
I like it just because I'm not like terribly good at games. I mean, so if it's a PC game, I could probably give a pretty good fight. But when it comes to console games, I'm just horrible.
Well, see, that's I think we've talked about this before, especially on Gadget Gurus. Is I grew up in a console gaming world, and I suck at PC games because I don't know, I just can't game with a keyboard. But you're the opposite. You're amazing with a keyboard.
Yeah, I got the whole eye to hand mouse coordination going on there.
Yeah.
You know,
I do a bit of both. I usually, well, most of me, I game on the PC, but I've done a bit of console gaming too, so do a bit of both. I can.
Yeah, and Smoothie said that he likes Twitch.tv. I think it's just having a set aside, almost like Google Games, like.
and it groups it by games too. So.
Oh, that is cool. I think it enables them to customize the game. It kind of lets them focus on gaming and say, hey, if you want to watch a sports game, for instance, you can go here or whatever. And Smoothie is saying something else. This is something I kind of thought about before, is Justin.tv doesn't give you too many customization options. I think they give you more than Ustream, but not much more. So, whatever. New venture from Justin.tv, so if you like Twitch, or if you like gaming, Twitch.tv is the place to go. Alright, so our next story here, it's kind of an interesting one because Jabe and I are both HTC users. HTC has struck a $300 million deal to partner with Beats Audio, which, most notably...
Dre Beats, yo!
Yeah, does the...
Well, they're the guys who made the Dr. Dre headphones.
Yes, and...
that all the kids on YouTube like.
And... I don't know, like, you know how Bose used to be, like, really big? I mean, obviously Bose are kind of expensive, so are Beats by Dre. And it has become more of a cultural icon because you see these NFL players walking around before they go into the games wearing their Beats Audio, stuff.
Beats, yo, Beats.
And everybody's like, hey, I gotta have some of those. So
I got to get me some of them.
yeah, I mean, they're like $250 or $300 for, like, some of the higher end ones. And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think so. And it's not. This is mynext.com. This is just kind of an announcement, but I was reading when I was doing some research. I think it was Mashable maybe saying that this is more of a cultural move than a technology move because HTC has partnered with SRS, which is in my laptop and in my phone. I mean, it sounds decent. I mean, obviously they're not going to be that great considering that it's inside your phone, but whatever. And Beats by Dre, they've already partnered with HP, I think it is, the higher end HP models that are like the price of MacBook Pros. Yeah. They have some Beats by Dre, but Beats by Dre are such a cultural it's like a cultural brand almost. Like, you see a lot of celebrities wearing them and stuff, like they're endorsed by Lady Gaga and all these other people. I don't know. I mean, honestly,
Who doesn't think that the phones, now they're putting that in there, it's not going to hike up the price of the phones at all?
I would hope not.
Maybe that's just like another like marketing thing.
You think it's
that
just
they're
a
trying
part?
to get more people. HTC seems like they're reaching out there for a lot of different niches.
Yeah, especially the status. Like this kind of tells me that somebody's going to see that HTC phone. If they're standing in Best Buy right now and they see that Beats logo, they're like, "Oh crap, I got to have that." Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
what
but it's
the phone
like
does.
It seems like HTC's really been. I mean, they're a pretty good company. It's just they seems like they've been kind of grabbing at the straws a lot lately, like the 3D phone and it's just like they're trying to find different gimmicks to get. More
it's weird because HTC is one of the premier Android phone makers. Like right now, I know they're in a lawsuit with Apple, but they're still doing very well when you think about that 550,000 handsets.
Well, I think they're trying to try different things that people might not come to HTC just by the phone itself. They got to have that little gimmick. They're trying to get the gimmick takers, Yeah, Beats by Dre. Oh, cool. It's got. Oh man. Oh,
so you're saying that
but it's still.
So right now, you and I bought an HTC phone because they're some of the best phones on the market and they're cool phones. And
I mainly buy them, one, because they're easy to root, and two, just because they kind of have a pretty good product line,
Yeah.
But
and I bought
as soon as that stupid Samsung Galaxy S2 comes out, over here, I'm going to probably jump on that.
So
shut up, Carlo.
I didn't say nothing.
I don't know. I mean, it kind of makes sense to me, but
I'm just going to confiscate your card.
I mean, this thing, for instance, they try to market that it has SRS technology inside of it. I can't tell a difference.
Well, all SRS is just equalizer stuff. But I mean, still, if you have like a little crappy speaker for earpiece, it's not going to make a difference if it's got, Lemony Snicket. I don't know.
And see, Smoothie's making a a pretty decent point that they don't need gimmicks. They already make
I
good
know.
phones.
But what they're trying to do is get that other bit of crowd. They know their phones are good, but they're kind of like trying to dominate the market by getting all these other people that might not come over.
And it makes sense. Let's just say that that kid that likes the Beats by Dre because LeBron James uses them. Like, he walks into the stadium. Well, right now
they have
he's
a phone that has it. Oh man, I got to get that phone because it's got that.
Or right now, I mean, it may sway. Like, Lady Gaga will probably start using an HTC phone, for instance. Like, I can probably guarantee that. So, I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting move. I don't think it really pertains to us because unless you like Beats by Dre, I mean, that's not really a draw for me. I mean, if I buy another HTC phone, I'm just going to be like, oh, comes with Beats audio, great. So
Me.
Yeah, exactly. And I've listened to the ones in the HP Envies. I mean, they're good, but it's still like subpar. Like, it's nothing that great. You know, I wouldn't pay extra to get.
You can only go so far with a phone speaker.
Or even built-in laptop speakers. I mean, they're better than a phone, but not like that much better. So.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
I think you're right. It's more of a cultural. It's more of a cultural partnership because
they're just trying to get other little groups of people to get on their jump.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it comes down to.
Now, on our post show of Fab Lab on Thursday, we were talking a little. I mentioned this. See, they've got everything blurred out. Some of the first leaked pictures came out on Thursday. This was actually published on Friday. Yeah. And then
why would they cover up the kernel version?
I don't know. I think it's. The only reason I thought is maybe like that tells you where you got it from or something. I don't know.
Maybe it's a certain distro that only certain people. That's probably what it is. It's probably a kernel version for certain people.
Something like that.
You know, like Engadget. You know, kernel or I don't know.
So these are from Mashable, but pretty much anywhere you go on the web, they've got some of these. This is running on right now the dev version, the latest Google dev.
I think the reason why they're covering those up is because
third-party apps or something.
It's probably something that's unique to that distro, you know?
Yeah, I think you're right. So,
something like that, where it's got stuff that's kind of like, oh.
So most notably, they've went with the bluer style that comes with Honeycomb.
Yeah, which I like the blue. I like the blue. I'm between the blue and the green, but I'm kind of starting to like the blue.
Yeah.
Signage and Mod is mainly blue, but it's not all the way blue.
Well, it's kind of weird. Like, they kept some of the original.
Yeah, some of it's like orange, and then some of it's blue, and you're like, what? Yeah.
So Ice Cream Sandwich is going to be the first version of Android 4.0 that's going to have one OS or one name for both the tablet and the phone. So it's going to scale to the tablet or whatever, and there's going to be some unique features that are unlocked when you have a tablet, for instance, like, different kinds of widgets. And I think it's pretty interesting because I like the fact that when the 4.1.1 or whatever is released for Android, if I have an Android tablet, it's going to be the same update. You know what I mean? Like, I think this is the way to go because so many people dog Android.
All the OS is doing is just scaling itself to whatever it needs.
And we talked about this with apps. A lot of developers, for the different
if they
screen
develop
sizes,
it the right way and make it dynamic
perfectly.
And not make it just scale the thing up like an iPad.
Yeah.
Actually make the app like here's a layout for, this resolution and smaller. And then when it goes above this resolution on the screen, this is the layout. And you just basically have like two layouts for your phone.
Yeah. One of the things I think this is going to spur is a lot of the sitting developers right now, for instance, people like Seismic, or I think Seismic has a Honeycomb application, but those awesome Android developers right now, that develop some of our favorite applications that have not jumped on the Honeycomb bandwagon yet, I think that this Ice Cream Sandwich, with them being able to build some pretty simple code in there saying, hey, dynamically scale and work on it for this screen resolution, use this set of icons or whatever, I think it's going to spur them on. Because right now for Honeycomb, you have to have, it's two separate applications. So you'll have kind of like the iPad is, you'll have like a Pulse for Honeycomb or a Pulse HD or whatever, like, which really...
Yeah, which that's the one thing that will set them apart from Apple. If they can get away from the HD apps, and make it to where it's one app that runs on either device and it looks fine.
Yeah.
Like it'll look fine on your 32-inch LCD screen, and it'll look fine on your 4-inch LCD screen on your phone.
Which is awesome.
And it's the same program. It's not any different code. It's just built into the program.
Just looking at it, especially for when you get or if you ever get the Samsung Galaxy S2 or whatever it is,
August is rolling up here, guys. We're halfway through it.
Yeah, they are. It looks like they're embracing kind of darker UI, which is nice.
Yes. The other thing that I did see is that Samsung is going to announce something big at their August 29th summit in New York. I'm like, what the junk?
And
29th?
Did you go on there and request? You can actually. Samsung now has a launch page for all U.S. customers. They have every single carrier list, every major carrier. They've got T-Mobile, Sprint, or whatever, and you can type in your name, your email address, and stuff, and you can suggest to them which carrier should get the Galaxy S2. So, yeah. I don't know. I don't really know what the holdup is. Did we ever discuss why there's a holdup?
I think it's because of the iPad 5 release in September.
Or the iPhone.
iPhone 5.
I mean,
not
iPhone, not iPad 5. iPhone.
Do you think they're holding back?
Yeah, because they don't want to release their thing, and then Apple be like, and we have something even better, kind of deal.
That's interesting.
I think that's all it is. Which, they need to stop worrying about that and just do it. Where am I even at?
So that's a dual-core Tegra 2 phone or whatever, and
I don't even know what's
hopefully
going
Jeb
on
will
here.
get it so we can review it sometime on... Yeah, is that it right there?
Oh, look, there it is right there.
Now in the U.S., what?
Oh, it's all sold out again. Yay!
Yeah.
Well, we have them here, so if Samsung would kindly want to send me one to review, I'll happily do so.
And I will punch Carlo in the face through the internet.
Then I'll send it off to you afterwards.
But it won't have any of my bands that I need.
Dude, it's a quad band phone.
I don't
can
care.
do something
You buy
with
it
But it's
overseas,
GSM,
and it's
it
going to
is
be all
GSM,
bad.
yeah.
Plus, I need mine on Sprint, which is not a
Yes.
CDMA phone.
All right. Well, I guess...
Oh, and then the other thing was they were doing. They're coming out with. Is it the
Concord?
Concord 4G
I don't know.
at the same time?
Why would they do that? That's
It's just two phones. I don't know.
All right. Well, that was fun. I think our new shortened version... See, that enabled us to talk a lot more about Google Games and stuff when we don't have 5 more stories that we need to be like, okay,
And then the
Apple and Samsung are in a lawsuit. The Chromebook is not selling. Nintendo 3DS not dropped their price. Blah, blah, blah. So, anyway, I think that's awesome. And I think it's working well. You can follow Carlo on Twitter, twitter.com/Carlo Brown. Check out his new website, carlobrown174.com. He's also a contributor to the teenagehackers.com and geekintelligence.com as well.
Yar.
Thank you for joining us this week, Carlo. And I think it's Jeb, you're going to be out we're not having a show next week because Jeb is going to a bachelor party. And, well, the wedding.
No,
the wedding.
Bachelor party is the night before, and it's not a party. If you call golfing a bachelor party,
that's a party for
a
some people. It's a party for some people.
sad party.
Golfing.
Yeah.
We're gonna go golfing and then eat a sandwich.
So no show next week, and then on the 3rd, Jeb may be going to Dragon Con possibly. So Carlo, I know Carlo and Will from Geek Intelligence will be here, and hopefully if Jeb doesn't go, he will be there.
There it is.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, sorry.
You can follow Jeb on Twitter, twitter.com/freakinhuge, FREAKINHUGE. Check out his website, jebroberts.me, and jebroberts.me/plus to get his Google Plus account.
Yeah.
Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/thatnickjones, and nickjones.me. It's where you can find everything that I do on the internet. As Jeb signs up rapidly to get his phone, even though it's probably not going to help, but hopefully it will. Oh, gosh. Go, go, go. Alright, guys, thanks for joining us on this episode of Tech Weekly. As always, I'm Nick Jones.
I'm Jacob Roberts.
And I'm Carlo Brown.
It's been another episode of Tech Weekly.
See you guys.